Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our morning meditation. I hope you're having a good morning. Uh, and I'm getting a phone call right now from a scam person. I'm hoping I'm still connected. Um, so I'm hoping you're having a good morning. I invite you to share our morning reflections with your family and friends, and to let everyone know that everyone is welcome here as we do our daily sharing. So as always, I'll start with some words from our Transcendentalist forebearer, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And then today I would like to be sharing with you the life of uh, Reverend Joseph Jordon, who is our first Universalist minister of color. And so I'll share a little bit about his life, and then we'll play some music and reflect together. So, just to invite you into a time of meditation. I invite you as we begin together into this time of meditation to come together across the internet and across this space as a community that will grow together and engage each other as we share these next few minutes together. I'll now share with you some words from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The Oversoul. All goes to show that the soul in man is not an organ, but animates and exercises all the organs, is not a function like the power of memory, of calculation, of comparison, but uses these as hands and feet, is not a faculty, but a light, is not the intellect or the will, but the master of the intellect and the will, is the background of our being, in which they lie, an immensity not possessed and that cannot be possessed. From within or behind, a light shines through us upon things and makes us aware that we are nothing but the light. A man is the facade of a temple wherein all wisdom and good abide. What we commonly call man, the eating, drinking, planting, counting man, does not, as we know him, represent himself, but misrepresents himself. Him we do not respect, but the soul, whose organ he is, would let him appear through his action, would make our knees bend. When it breathes through his intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through his will, it is virtue. When it flows through his affection, it is love. And the blindness of intellect begins when it would be something of itself. The weakness of will begins when the individual would be something of himself. All reform aims in some one particular to let the soul have its way through us. In other words, to engage us to obey. In many traditions, it is believed that if you speak out loud your wish of goodwill, that it gives power to that wish or that desire, that prayer. Therefore, I offer up to you today those who do not have freedom of spirituality, or those who are not welcomed into their faith tradition in a way that honors their dignity. Those who live in the shadow of life because because of who they are and who they were created to be by their maker. I invite them and ask them to be welcomed someday into a community of faith that loves them just for who they are and who they were created to be. I now invite you to speak peace and love into the world by speaking of those who you hold in your heart and send positive energy into the world. I invite you to speak that out loud in your own space or to enter that into the comments of this space so we can share in this time. We speak of that which we carry in our hearts as a sign that we are connected to the interdependent world around us. I now bind not only that has been named and made known to us, but that which we hold in our heart and is joined together in the love of this community. Our reflection today primarily comes from Mark Morrison Reed's book, Darkening the Doorways, Black Trails Blazers, and Missed Opportunities in Unitarian Universalism. And today I would like to reflect with you on the life of Joseph Jordon, who on March 31st in 1889 was ordained as the first Black Universalist minister. Jordon founded the First Universalist Church of Norfolk, Virginia in 1887 and initiated an education effort for African American children in Norfolk and vicinity. The missions and schools that were his legacy served thousands of children and families in Eastern Virginia over a period of a century. Jordon held many occupations himself, becoming a laborer, a grocer, and finally a carpenter. As a carpenter, he earned enough money to build and to buy several homes in Norfolk, in the suburb of Huntersville. He was then able to live off the rent. He was literate and skilled and a property owner, and he soon became very quickly a leader in his community. Jordon felt deeply about religion. By 1880, he had been ordained a Baptist minister, and a few years later, a Methodist colleague gave him Thomas Whitmore's A Plain Guide to Universalism and asked him what he thought of it. The book made an immediate, powerful, and lasting impression on Jordon. Whitmore's book explains the goodness of the universe, the loving parental guidance of the Almighty for all of humanity, and the promise of salvation for everyone. Now, it is not known which passages particularly spoke out to Jordon, but Whitmore makes it clear that universalism was not a religion for the bigoted, and that all could be accepted in God's love, and acceptance and equality was expanded to all, powerless and powerful, oppressed and their oppressors. After reading this, Jordon was ready to devour all that he could find on universalism. He was no longer able to preach the Baptist faith, and Jordon continued on in his carpenter's trade while he pondered what to do. In 1886, he went to Philadelphia, where he knew there was a significant Universalist community, and he studied there for 7 months. He prayed. He found spirituality in a new way. He then returned to Norfolk and began to preach the Universalist faith to anyone who would listen. He rented a room at 42 Lincoln Street as a chapel, and shortly that room was packed with worshipers. He built his own pulpit. He was a carpenter. And he and his congregation of 20 families formally organized themselves as a Universalist mission on June 29, 1887. Parents, though, increasingly came to him in his mission and pleaded with him to establish a day school to help their children gain better opportunities in the world. Jordon agreed to that, and he met urgently and pressed. He met urgently to press this need and to do so within the Universalist Church. In 1889, Universalist Ordaining Council found him to have, and I quote, clear and bright mind, and to be free alike from pretension and the objectness. He believed in us and knows why. The council concluded, and his candidates proved to be exceedingly satisfactory. Upon unanimous recommendation, the next day, on March 31st, 1889, Jordon was approved to be a candidate for the ministry, and Jordon was ordained as a Universalist minister at a ceremony at Church of the Messiah. Our Universalist denomination had welcomed for the first time an African American minister. In 1893, Jordon addressed the General Convention held in Washington, D.C., on the need to fund a building in Norfolk. Donations added up to, get this, $2,758, enough to build a church and to provide for some of its furnishings. The new building, containing a sanctuary and a church schoolroom, was dedicated in 1894. It was located in the heart of the Black community of Norfolk, and Sunday evening worship attracted 35 congregants. Occasionally, white Universalists were even in attendance because they did not have a church of their own in Norfolk. The new building provided for a well-appointed day school to meet the needs of educationally denied Black children in Norfolk. Jordon believed that church and education went hand in hand to help people live faith with dignity, purpose, and effectiveness, and to empower them and their community. In the new building, they taught day school to between 90 and 100 community children during the week. But by 1900, the day school attendance had settled down to an average of 50 pupils. The desire for education by African American parents in Norfolk remained high. And despite other private and church-sponsored schools for Blacks, the demand was outstripped by opportunity. Universalism as a faith, however, was radical in its social implications and debated in the local Black press. As a local institution, the Universalist Church seemed a challenge to the established Black churches, and as a national institution. It was actually still, as some will say it still is today, it was still white and segregationist. Congregants tended to be from among the more independently minded new residents of Norfolk, people who were attracted to the city from the rural South and were likely to move on to northern cities in search of great opportunity. So the community and the missions church that was established became more transitory. It was a stepping stone from one space to another. Regular subsidiaries from the Universalist General Congregation kept the church open and the day school going. But nevertheless, while the day school remained strong, the congregation, because of its transitory nature, lost key lay people and soon withered. But this is not where his legacy ended. Joseph Jordon's legacy continues through the day school and in other spaces of Universalist history until today. Jordon himself died in 1901 when he was 59 years old. Over the decades, the churches and schools Jordon helped to build gave thousands of families in Virginia a chance to learn and a place to be treated with respect. And that is our goal of Universalist ministry. I would like to share with you a musical reflection from a song that was written in 1893. And I hope you can sit back and enjoy and listen to the words of these reflection in this music as we engage these next few moments, and take them into your heart as a remembrance of those who have struggled before us and those who will struggle in the future.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's a-gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. God's a-gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like the Israelite. God's a-gonna trouble the water. Ooh, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God is gonna trouble. God's a-gonna trouble the water. Oh, see that band all dressed in red. God's a-gonna trouble the water. Ooh, it looks like the band that Moses led. God's a-gonna trouble the water. Oh, whoa, whoa, wade in the water. Oh, wade in the water, children. Trouble, yes, he will. The water. Oh, ooh, 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 oh, oh. God is gonna trouble. God's gonna trouble the water. There's healing in the water, yeah, 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 yeah. The water. Deliverance in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. My God is gonna trouble the water.
And may we say together, blessed be. I invite you into a moment of silence to reflect on the music that we just heard, the story we've heard, and to reflect in this time of just taking a moment to slow down, to settle in, and to be at peace with yourself and one another. May we say together, blessed be. I want to thank you who have come here today and to share in this reflection, for being here, being here live, or being here if you watch this after it goes live. I want to invite you again to share your comments, to share what you would like to see in the comment section, or let me know. I'm happy to hear what people are interested in. And as we go today, I again invite you to take some time to sit outside, to sit on your porch, to listen to the birds, to and just enjoy some nature, and to be able to spend some time with yourself in reflection, as we are engaged in this time of solitude and separation. And as we close our time together, I invite you to speak with me that we believe in something greater than us. We send peace out to the world. We recognize that the divine resides in both you and I, and we send love and blessing into the world as we say together, Amen, Amin, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be.